Multiple trillion-dollar banks are coming out with absolutely huge Bitcoin predictions. Although we are seeing short-term market predictions, we are seeing massive money managers double and triple down on their Bitcoin exposure and even be more and more bullish in the traditional media than some might expect. We've got Standard Chartered, a $800 billion bank, saying that the 500K Bitcoin target is maintained because other buyers might step in here very soon. And we'll get into who that is shortly. But we also got to point out another billion-dollar bank, Franklin Templeton, is now opening up ETF products. And they're even saying that they're open to more Bitcoin and ETF products. So why all the recent publicity around these Bitcoin products, and why are banks slowly FOMOing into Bitcoin and their products? Is it because they are seeing some turbulation short term in the market, which could be signaling for a very bullish 2025? Now, first, before you say, Brandon, let's back up. What are we talking about here? Well, Standard Chartered is talking about 500K Bitcoin, half a milli. All right, half the windmill, half of the windmill going through here at the Bitcoin price. And it's saying because finance giants are going to pile in. We're seeing the ETF. It's been choppy despite short-term pessimism. Some of the largest institutional buyers have been showing increased interest in the asset. The buying pressure can easily send Bitcoin to a new all-time high. It's even saying 500K, half a bill. Now, what else are they saying is a reason? So not only large institutional buyers, but also these pension funds. And what have we been saying lately here on this channel, folks? It's going to be led by sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, and people that you did not expect to really get into Bitcoin. It's not going to be the strategic reserve that's going to be sending this thing to the moon. It's going to be things like state pension funds. Now, why do I say that it's going to be state pension funds? Well, if we've seen Q4 of 13F filings reveal that banks and sovereign wealth funds have entered the Bitcoin market. Abu Dhabi purchased nearly 5,000 Bitcoin equivalent. Kendrick predicts Bitcoin to hit 500K before Trump's term to end if the pension funds and institutional investors boost allocations. Well, what have we already seen here, folks? He said if they boost their allocations, well, we've already seen the Wisconsin pension fund boost their allocation, in fact, even double their allocation to Bitcoin here in this last quarter of last year. And what other state did we see? Another Midwestern state, the Michigan State pension fund is now putting 6.6 milli into their Bitcoin investment. So two of these Midwest giants are now putting a decent allotment of their state pension funds into Bitcoin. Now, I think it's interesting that Standard Chartered is coming out and saying, hey, this could be led by these state level pension funds and not necessarily at the top. It could be without the strategic reserve that we see all of this, right? Now, what is one unique thing that we've seen Trump start to talk about, right? He's started to talk about the sovereign wealth fund. He wants to be the president that builds out a sovereign wealth fund in the United States. Now, why do I think that he's trying to build out this sovereign wealth fund and potentially try to compete with other countries like we're seeing in Abu Dhabi and all these other places? Well, it's because I think he wants some allocation to some of these tech companies. He wants some of this allocation to Bitcoin. He wants some of these allocations to help the United States because he's seen all these other countries start to heavily invest into these. Now, let's go into Franklin Templeton, right? I mentioned them at the beginning. They have launched its own Bitcoin and Ether ETF, and they are potentially looking at some other ETF products. They've got it listed on the CBO BZX, and it's a basket of 87% Bitcoin and 13% Ether. Unlike direct purchases, their offer perceived as a plunge into murky waters that the ETFs offer this secure life raft. Now, it's interesting, right? Because they are talking about, hey, trust the traditional financial system, trust everything related to these traditional financial topics, trust the ETFs. We've been trusting them for generations at a time. But when we look at what happens when you trust the traditional financial systems, you see crazy charts like this, right? Look at this. This is the M1 money supply in China. Now, all of these ETFs and these giant banks are calling for 500K Bitcoin. What did we see last time when we saw massive amounts of money printing? We saw from 2020 Bitcoin go from crashing down to about $4,000, maybe slightly under if you got lucky, all the way up to nearly $70,000, which is 17.5% or 17.5 times, that price action, right? So look, maybe call me crazy, but we're sitting at 90,000 here, 91K, right? So let's do some quick maths as my friend Luke Mikic loves to do live. So I'll do it at 90K because I did it at 100 earlier for you guys, but 90K, 17.5 times of that. Quick math says that it is 1.5, nearly $1.6 million worth of Bitcoin. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to see that drastic of a run up this time around, but what I am saying is that when you see charts like this, where the Chinese money supply is drastically increasing, you see a lot of writing on the wall here. You see that, all right, China may need to start to do some money printing because or they already have done massive amounts of money printing in the US, might need to catch up. Now, before you guys start freaking out about this chart, because I was freaking out when I first initially saw it, China changed the way that they're looking at the M1 money supply, right? So it's hard to say whether or not China actually printed their money. They just brought in the surprise. So effective in January, it will encompass currencies in circulation, corporate demand deposits, residential demand deposits, and customer reserve funds held by non-banks. So it makes for this crazy chart here to show the Chinese M1 money supply absolutely skyrocketing. But because data is manipulated so much in the government, it's hard to tell whether or not the Chinese government is starting to do this measure to cover up money printing and cover up the potential growth of the M1 money supply. It's really unclear, and we won't know because the Chinese government is a little skeptical or a little sketchy when it comes to, buying this. But what we do see here is we see the VIX absolutely skyrocket. The VIX volatility index has surged above 20, up 35% in 4 days, right? So we're seeing bullish price predictions from a lot of these major banks, and we're seeing graphs that are looking like crazy hockey sticks. I'm a lefty, so this looks like my putter here, to be honest with you, folks. Like, it's not just a hockey stick where you see a little bit on the way up. That thing, I feel like I could tee something up and drive it 350 yards with that thing there, right? So I think that these charts and everything that we're seeing here is a sign of something that's going on in the background. And it's not just me saying that. My good friend Marty Bent, friend of the program, is also saying that. He said, look at the lines here. Jamie Dimon sold $233 million worth of JP Morgan stock on Friday. The demand for physical gold is skyrocketing. The VIX surged above $20 this morning, or 20%, excuse me, and Bitcoin dumped after market close. Feels like something breaking behind the scenes, right? So all of these people here are lining out what they're doing in the open, right? JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon selling $233 million worth of their own stock. The gold, these charts are absolutely insane. What is going to happen here? It seems like something is imminent. Now, last time that we had something like this, right, we had the fear gauge, the highest level of fear. Now, this is what the VIX is used for. It's essentially looking at a lot of different, it's looking at the volatility of the overall market. So looking at the VIX basically shows that, hey, this is looking at the volatility. This is how traditional finance is looking at the overall market. They're seeing the volatility rise granted, the VIX was at 85 at that time, right? In there, and it just soared past 20. So this is not exactly that high relative to 2020, but seeing the VIX skyrocket 35% in 4 days is something that is very alarming, right? We're not used to seeing charts take off like this. We're not used to seeing things absolutely just skyrocket for little to no explanation. We haven't had interest rates rise. We haven't done anything like that. But we're seeing in last quarter, Goldman Sachs and all of these others double up on their Bitcoin holdings. And we're seeing that news come out here now. And we're not seeing really anything else kind of come out here in this early part of this year. So have they slowed their buying? What do they know? Why are they kind of slowing down? Why is the Bitcoin price somewhat stagnant with all of this? Now, I think that is absolutely something that is going on behind the scenes. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something come out. The interesting thing is that we're seeing banks openly say, hey, we think 500K Bitcoin is coming soon, and it's coming by the end of Trump's term. But there's going to be factors that you don't expect from buyers that you don't expect, including states' pension funds, including these institutional finance giants, right? So I think that they're lining out and basically telling you now that, hey, we don't necessarily think the strategic reserve is going to happen. We think that there's going to be something that is going to be a little bit unexpected. There's going to be bigger buyers that are on the sidelines that are going to be FOMOing into Bitcoin here very soon. Now, let's take a look at the chat here. And it's what do we got here from Down Under Blue? Says it's going to be the money supply that moves the Bitcoin price, said the Bitcoin CEO. Satoshi Nakamoto, I agree with you, man. If you look at the M2 money supply of the United States and the price of Bitcoin, in fact, I'll actually pull that up here. M2 money supply versus Bitcoin, and we will see that is, let's see, Bitcoin Magazine Pro. Let's see if they let me sneak in and get this for you guys before. Yeah, so you can see it's fairly correlated. When the money supply grows, you start to see the the Bitcoin price kind of follow suit. The only interesting thing is, like, when we saw it in 2020, we didn't see as significant of a run up. Now, my theory there is that because we didn't see as drastic of a run up as we saw in the overall money supply is because FTX and all of those were sending massive amounts of paper Bitcoin. Now, so I think that it's going to take a little bit of time for the M2 money supply to catch up and reach into Bitcoin. And I think it's just a matter of time. Oh my God, the legend, Rock in the chat, smashing the 99.99. My friend, thank you so much. I will definitely use this to smash by this dip because it's looking absolutely juicy here. As we're lining out, we got Bitcoin price at 91,599. Oh, it's dipping as we speak. Rock, as soon as I get this money, man, it's going straight into there. So the absolute legend, he might be a part-time sponsor of my show. Thank you so much for tuning into that live stream with both Luke Mikic and I, the hour-long one. I hope you guys enjoyed the banner for those who were there yesterday as well. But this price is looking absolutely juicy to me. And the way I look at Bitcoin is this is a big buying opportunity. We've got a lot of money sitting on the sidelines. We've got a lot of bullish signals, even in the short term. If we're looking at things as, hey, this might be a little bit bearish, I'm still smash buying Bitcoin, and I'm doing it at the best place I think possible in the United States, and that's the Bitcoin well. They force you to do it in self-custody, folks. They will not let you buy Bitcoin and have them hold it. They want to send it directly to self-custody. So what can you do? You can go and sign up by going to the bitcoinwell.com/green candle. You can sign up there. You can join me by putting in your email here. You will get some wishing well tokens where you can flick a coin into the wishing well. It's absolutely electric. And then you could get the potential to win 1 million sats. But even better, if you're looking to smash buy and you're looking at this $90,000 Bitcoin price as absolutely juicy. You want to buy half a Bitcoin or more, you can go to their OTC desk here at the Bitcoin Well Infinite, sign up and go to their Access Infinite. You could even schedule in an appointment directly from there where you can have a meeting and talk to them themselves. And they will, Chantel and the group over there will give you the best service possible. I wouldn't partner with people if I didn't think that they're best. So go ahead and go to the Bitcoin Well, go to the Infinite, and absolutely smash by this dip, as my man Rock, the legend in the chat, is saying here. Now, we're also seeing Down Under Blues saying uncertainty in the market. All right, let's make this comment a little bit bigger. Uncertainty in the U.S. is causing the market conditions and in the spike in the VIX. Expect this to continue. I agree here, Down Under Blues. I think that the uncertainty in the market is getting a lot of people scared here because we haven't seen everything just skyrocket immediately as Trump's coming in. There's been a lot of negativity around the tariffs. How are these going to affect different policies? How are these going to affect Bitcoin? And I, for one, am not worried about everything because I do have Bitcoin, right? I mean, I think that all these things that people are seeing are just short-term FUD, folks. It's everything to try to get you a little bit scared here, right? We're seeing everybody call out for 500K Bitcoin, right? They're seeing 500K Bitcoin by the end of Trump's term, right? So they're saying 4 years down the road. I think it's going to happen sooner. It could even happen this year, if you ask me. If you see all the money on the sidelines, you see these M2 money supplies start to skyrocket. You see things and you see charts like this. Although it is data manipulation from the changing of the basket of what they're using the M1 money supply, I think like you just can't not be bullish with the way that governments have just been manipulating all this money, right? So I think that it is just a matter of time before we start to see more and more charts like this. And the reality of the situations here is that the more money printing that we see, the more extreme ups and extreme downs that we see. The more market volatility, the more extreme upturns and downturns that we're going to see is just absolutely insane here. So I think that, it's just a matter of time. And that's why you got to get your great Bitcoin related friends here, like my man Rock, the legend in the chat, who's sending me super chats. So I really do appreciate it, man. It means the world to me to see a lot of you guys here in the chat night in and night out. Because it's just absolutely the best, and I make these videos for you guys, and I really do appreciate it. So I love that you guys are in here, and you guys are along on this journey with me here as well. So, as my man All Night Hider, also welcome to the chat. Smoke that like Cheech and Chong. All you guys, absolute legends in the chat here. But we're getting beside the point where we're seeing the market volatility just absolutely skyrocket here. And we're seeing other big giant factors. We're seeing gold and common vaults absolutely skyrocket. Now, why are we seeing that? That daily change, right? We haven't seen a daily change like that since pre-2020. Now, why did we see that rate of change there pre-2020? Maybe we could put some tinfoil hats on and think about that at one point in time, but we're seeing the massive amounts of gold. Oh, we sold off, but now we're seeing it again. Why are they doing that? More than likely, you think you're going to see some money printing happening in the very near term, right? As my man Lawrence Lepard, friend of the program, he wrote a book on it, right, called The Big Print. It's absolutely great book. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, I highly recommend it, or my interview with him as well. He goes over that as well. But either way, we're seeing massive amounts of gold getting scooped up here, right? We're seeing Jamie Dimon sell off $233 million worth of the stock of his own company. Now, why are they doing that? You got to question that, right? You got to question all of these things. And the best place to do that is not only here in the live streams, but in person with your other Bitcoin friends. Now, if you guys are looking for some place to do that, I will be in Dallas, Texas, early next oh no, not next month, but early April. So in a month and a couple weeks, where I'll be going to BitBlock Boom. There's a golf tournament out there if you guys want to go. I'll be playing in the golf tournament. So if you guys want to go talk a little smack to me, see how the lefty does it, come to BitBlock Boom in Dallas. You can use promo code Green Candle to get 10% off all of your tickets. They've got a lot of great events. And the ticket prices do increase in less than a week here, folks. So purchase them sometime soon here this week. You'll get the 10% discount on top of the tickets not being raised. So hurry up and join. There's great people like Parker Lewis, James Lavis, Stefan Lavera. You'll get to hang out with me. The boys at Simply Bitcoin will also be there as well. So a lot of fun activities down in Dallas. So if you ain't from Dallas, but you D-Town boogie, come and join me down in D-Town so we can talk about these crazy bankers who are predicting this 500K Bitcoin for factors that many are not fully hammering the head on. Everybody knows the ETF. Everybody's hammering, oh, this state's doing the strategic reserve. Oh, this state's doing this. Oh, these countries are talking about Bitcoin strategic reserve. A lot of people are understating the state pension funds and the sovereign wealth funds. That's where I think the majority of money is going to be coming this cycle. And I'm going to be hammering that for times to come. So as my man, All-Nighter Hider in the chat always loves to say, smoke that like Cheech and Chong. And I will catch you guys. Hit that subscribe button as well, because I'm almost to 10.1K. I just need a couple of you guys to hit it. So hit that to you, and let me know what you guys thought of this one in the comments, and I will see you guys all on the next one.